Um, Coming up next is going to be Ella Bramwell. Ella's one of our seniors, and she's going to be attending Mills College next fall. Um, Ella's fun fact is that she's learned to use a forge over quarantine, and her piece that she's going to be performing today is It Was a Murder But Not a Crime, which is a POI performed and compiled by her. Just as a reminder, POI is a selection of multiple pieces to fit to one theme. Good luck, Ella.
Thank you. Amazing job, Mia. Okay. And now, the six merry murderesses in their rendition of the Cell Block Tango. Pop. Six. Squish. Scissorro. Lip shits. Pop. You know how some people just have those habits that get you down? Like Bernie. You see, Bernie, he liked to chew gum. No, not chew. Pop. So I come home this one night and I'm just a little bit irritated, and there's Bernie lying on the couch drinking a beer and chewing. No, not chewing, popping. So I said to him, you pop that gum one more time. And you know what? Well, he did. So I took the shotgun off the wall and fired 2 warning shots into his head. I knew that carrying more than $10,000 undeclared was illegal, let alone carrying it for a West African drug lord named Elahi. But Nora Jansen, with her mop of curly brown hair, was a figure of intrigue. Everything about her was droll. From her wise, cracking, husky voice, the way she cocked her head to look at you, even the way she held her cigarette, wrists flexed and ever ready for gesture. She was the only one in a group of older women who paid me any attention. She had calmly explained to me that she had been brought into the drug smuggling world by a friend of her sister's who was connected. She had gone to Europe and been formally trained in the ways of the underworld by an American art dealer who was also connected. She had smuggled drugs into this country and been paid handsomely for her work. Why don't you come with me? Keep me company. You don't have to do anything. Just hang out. Nora had an adventure, and I wanted one. Nothing bad had ever happened to the boys from Northampton who had gone with her to exotic places as errand boys. I rationalized that there was no harm in just keeping Nora company. For 4 months of my life, I traveled constantly. Nora and I lived a life of relentless tension, yet it was also often crushingly boring, as I had little to do other than keep Nora company as she dealt with her mules. During a brief stay in the States with my real and very suspicious family, I received a call from Nora. She told me that she needed me to meet her at O'Hare Airport. O'Hare Airport was known as the safe airport, whatever that meant. It was where the drugs were flown. She told me that she needed me to fly out the next day to Brussels, carrying cash. She needed to do this for Elahi, and I needed to do it for her. Deep down, I felt I had signed up for this and could not say no. I was scared, but I agreed to do it. When Nora told me in no uncertain terms that she needed me to carry drugs, I knew I was no longer valuable to her unless I could make her money. Obediently, I lost my passport and was issued a new one. Nora and Elahi developed an elaborate and risky scheme to switch suitcases inside the Zurich airport, but mercifully, the drugs I was meant to carry never arrived, and I narrowly avoided becoming a drug courier. I knew I had to escape. When we got back to the States, I took the first flight to California I could get. From the safety of the West Coast, I cut all ties with Nora and put my criminal life behind me. One warm May afternoon, I was at home, still in my pajamas. "Who is it?" I asked over the intercom. "Miss Kerman, it's Officers Maloney and Wong." "Yes?" I wondered what the local cops wanted in the building. "Can we speak with you a moment?" What is this about? I was suddenly suspicious. "Miss Kerman, we think it would be better if we spoke face to face." Maloney did all the talking while Wong looked at me impassively. "Miss Kerman, we are U.S. Customs officials. We are here to notify you that you've been indicted in federal court in Chicago on charges of drug smuggling and money laundering." He handed me a sheet of paper. "You need to appear in court at that date at that place. If you do not appear, you will be taken into custody." That day began a long, torturous expedition through the labyrinth of the U.S. criminal justice system. My indictment in federal court for criminal conspiracy had been triggered by the collapse of my ex-lawyer's drug smuggling operation. Nora, Jack, and 13 others, some of whom I knew and some whom I did not, including African drug lord Elahi, shared my indictment. Nora and Jack were both in custody, and someone was pointing fingers and naming names. Standing tall, if pale, in my best suit, I choked out 3 words that would seal my fate. Guilty, Your Honor. This began. There was no end in sight. I spent nearly 6 years under supervision by the feds, reporting monthly to a pretrial supervisor. On December 8th, 2003, I stood in front of George Charles Norwell, and before he handed down my sentence, I made a statement to the court. Your Honor, more than a decade ago, I made bad decisions on both a moral and a practical level. I acted selfishly. Without regard for others, I knowingly broke the law, I lied to my family, and I distanced myself from my true friends. I am prepared to face the consequences of my actions and accept whatever punishment the court decides upon. I am truly sorry for all the harm I caused. Thank you for hearing me. I was sentenced to 15 months in federal prison. 'Cause if they used us and they abused us, how could you tell us that we were wrong? Thank you.